Most creators on LinkedIn are exhausted. They're burned out. They're posting every single day. They're chasing likes, reach, relevance. But still, they're not really attracting the clients that they want. All right? But here's the thing. You're not a creator. You're a founder. You didn't just come to LinkedIn to perform. You came here to build something real, quietly, powerfully, sustainably. So let's break this down. All right, we're going to talk about why most creators actually do burn out and why founders don't really have to. All right, here's the creator growth trap. This is the typical playbook, right? Post daily, build a following, chase virality, sell a low-ticket product, rinse and repeat. It might work for a little while, but it's not really sustainable. It creates pressure. It turns your voice into a chore, and it often attracts the wrong audience, especially if you're selling premium services or if you're building deep relationships, right? So this system, it's not broken, it's just not really made for you. So here's the founder advantage. As a founder, your leverage is a little bit different. You don't necessarily need 100,000 followers, a viral moment, an email list with 50% open rates. Okay? What you need is the right people seeing you, a clear, confident signal, a presence that builds trust at first glance. Your audience is smaller, but they're more powerful. So that means your strategy, it should be slower, calmer, more focused, like how I speak. All right, here are some of the symptoms of creator burnout though, okay, and how to avoid them. This is what burnout really looks like on LinkedIn. You dread posting, but you feel guilty if you don't. You get a dopamine hit from the notifications, but you feel a little bit empty afterwards. You worry that one off post is going to kill your momentum, so you keep showing up, but it all feels somewhat hollow. Does this sound familiar? Well, here's the shift, guys. You don't really need more content, you need more clarity. All right? So a calm presence, it doesn't necessarily equal a low impact. A lot of people think, if I don't post daily, I'm going to disappear. But that's simply not true. Some of my highest earning posts, they had less than 100 likes. They were written in literally under 10 minutes. They sat alone for days before the right person actually reached out. Quiet doesn't mean ineffective, and calm doesn't really mean weak. When your presence is truly aligned, trust compounds, even if engagement doesn't. Here's what my weekly rhythm kind of looks like for LinkedIn growth, okay? Let me show you exactly what works for me and dozens of other founders that I've worked with and that I've helped over the years, okay? Let's say Monday I do an authority anchor, which means I share a post that reaffirms my value, client results, bold belief, or a really unique perspective. So here's an example. 7 clients, 250K, all inbound, all from clarity, no hustle, right? Here's a Tuesday example. A belief post, personal insights. Let people feel your story. Talk about the identity behind the business. Here's an example. I used to post every single day. I was exhausted. When I stopped performing, I started attracting. Here's an example for a Wednesday, a thought leadership post, very calm but also strategic. Drop an observation that reflects your experience without preaching. Here's an example. The founders I trust most, they barely post, but when they do, I feel it. Here's a Thursday post, very punchy signal hit, okay? Short, clear reminder of your core message. Here's an example. Content doesn't build trust, clarity does. No DMs, no viral bait, no filler. Just 4 real moments of presence every single week. That's it. That's what it takes. All right? And here's the emotional ROI of calm growth. There's something very powerful about not really feeding the algorithm. When your brand is really built on trust instead of performance, clarity instead of visibility, depth instead of noise, you're going to stop chasing. And your nervous system will thank you. I promise you. You show up because you want to, not because you're scared not to. All right? You attract people who are aligned, not just available. And that's what founders truly deserve. That's what you deserve. You're not necessarily here to entertain. You're not here to impress the algorithm. What you are here to do is build something that lasts. So this is your reminder, okay? You are allowed to build quietly. You are allowed to grow slowly. You are allowed to trust that clarity outperforms noise. Most creators burn out, but founders, they get to choose something better. And if you're going to choose something better, I highly recommend that you subscribe to this channel. Thanks.